I'm starting to think Novak Djokovic isn't even human anymore. Cause what? There's no way. Hi, my name is Christian Bassnight, and welcome to Christian's Court, where I cover tennis from all angles. If there's two things Novak Djokovic is good for, it's making history and overcoming adversity, and that's exactly what he did on Monday. The world number one and defending Roland Garros champion beat Argentinian Fransico Cerundolo 6-1, 5-7, 3-6, 7-5, 6-3 in 4 hours and 39 minutes. The win marks his 370th win in the majors, surpassing Roger Federer, and it also nets him his 59th Slam quarterfinal appearance, which is the most for a man in history. Novak now holds the record for the most Slam titles, the most Slam finals, the most Slam semifinals, and now the most Slam quarterfinals. That's all I can do. Now, the right knee was a big theme for this match. Novak said that he was feeling slight discomfort in his knee the past couple of weeks, but it didn't become a notable issue until today for this match. Djokovic said that he came out and felt great, and he played like it in the opening set, just being dominant on both serve and return, and he blitzed Cerundolo nearly, winning it 6-1, of course. Novak did slip and fell during the third game of the second set, and that definitely changed the course of the match, according to Novak, as that fall impacted the knee. He sought treatment soon after, and Djokovic was visited a few more times by a trainer and then a doctor who gave him some pain medicine. Cerundolo, meanwhile, was knocking on the door to break numerous times throughout that second set, and on his 12th attempt, he finally did so to seal it to bring us at one set apiece. Novak definitely did not look okay for the third set and much of the fourth. A lot of times he wouldn't run for some shots, especially if he was already out of position. He just, stay stagnant and let Cerundolo hit the winner by him. Novak said that the pain meds kicked in just in time for him to pull off the comeback as he recovered from 4-2 down in the fourth set, where he was already down 2-1 to level the match before raising his level even higher in the decider to pretty much dominate for the most part. It is important to give credit to Francisco. He played amazing today, possibly the best match that he's played in his entire career, but unfortunately it just was not enough. He served so big, and he often out-hit Novak from the ground, especially with that big forehand, but his backhand too was pretty solid, and it stood its own against Novak's backhand, which is of course the greatest backhand or two-handed backhand in history of tennis. I think it just came down to a combination of the moment being too big for the Argentinian, and as well as Novak just stepping his game up and just being too good at the end. Cerundolo is an accomplished top 30 player, but this one would have been a whole different ball game, a big game changer for him. Not only would he have beaten the world number one and defending champion in Djokovic, but that win would have marked his first Slam quarterfinal appearance. So it was definitely a big deal for him. Now, Novak did tell the press that he's unsure of whether he can compete for Wednesday's quarterfinal, where he'll take on Casper Ruud for a rematch of last year's final, which of course Novak won in straight sets. Ruud defeated Taylor Fritz in 4 sets today, 7-6, 3-6, 6-4, 6-2. That match honestly could have gone 5 sets, as Taylor led Casper 5-1 in the opening set tiebreak, and he also held a break advantage in the third set, but he was unable to capitalize on both of those chances. Back to Novak. I know that he said he's unsure of whether his injury will allow him to compete against Ruud, but I feel like we've seen this story play out so many times where Novak suffers an injury mid-slam. He's down 2-1 or 2-0 even. He looks down and out, hobbling on the court, but then somehow the pain meds kick in, and then he's back to his top form, and he ultimately wins the whole tournament. I would not be surprised at all if the same thing happened here, mark my words. He's such a drama king, no lie, but I low-key like it because it reminds me of my fave Serena Williams. She also had her theatrics out there, so I don't totally mind it completely. In the fifth set, Djokovic complained about the court not being swept enough, and he blamed that for his fall, which I honestly think is BS. Now, to be the best, I've understood that you just got to be a little bit off up here, and this is no shade to Novak. He just is a little bit off, but that's why he's so great. Novak, I think, finds joy in dealing with adversity. He thrives off the struggle, it seems, but the adversity here was, of course, the fall. I don't think the knee injury is that big of a deal, to be totally honest. Of course, I think he is dealing with some type of problem, but I think he's playing it up a little bit, to be honest, in my opinion. I truly feel like if Novak played like he did in the first set and in the 4th/5th sets, for the remainder of the tournament, I think he'll go all the way and win the title. He hit with so much conviction in those sets, and even a red-hot Cerundolo couldn't even keep up. Now, looking ahead to this Djokovic-Ruud matchup, Novak leads the head-to-head 5-1, although Ruud did win their last meeting, which was at the Monte Carlo semifinals this year. He won that one in 3 sets. Getting that win will be major for Ruud for this matchup, as he now knows he has what it takes to beat Novak, even though it wasn't best of 5, it was only best of 3, but still a win is a win. Now, we do need to still look out for both the knee for Novak and his overall energy level, as this marks now 2 consecutive matches where he's had to play 4-hour-plus matches. Djokovic said that he actually wasn't too impacted by the Musetti late finish, as of course he finished at 3 a.m. in the morning. Rather, it was just the knee problem, which is why he was struggling so much in this match. I think that this being a quarterfinal and not a final itself bodes better for Ruud, because he's won a handful of Slam quarterfinals already, and it's not as much on the line as opposed to a championship. I think Novak will be cognizant of this, and I see him playing his best match this tournament thus far from start to finish, and I see him taking this one in 4 sets. Meanwhile, Alexander Zverev, who is currently involved in a domestic abuse trial, reached his 4th consecutive Roland Garros quarterfinal after outlasting Holger Rune 4-6, 6-1, 5-7, 7-6, 6-2 in 4 hours and 11 minutes. This was a pretty good match from both men. You know, all sets were competitive with the exception of that 5th set, and even that second set, that 6-1 second set, was pretty tight. Rune just did not take advantage of the opportunities he had in that second set. The 4th set ultimately decided the match, as the Dane trailed by a break on 2 separate occasions in that 4th set, but he clawed his way back and came within 3 points of making the Elite 8. However, Zverev just completely locked in from that point forward and won the final 11 out of 13 points of the set. He continued this momentum into the 5th set as he broke twice to ease to victory. Overall, Zverev was the better player here, and the stats just prove that. You know, he hit 61 winners to just 39 unforced errors, while Holger hit 60 winners to 50 unforced errors. Alex's service numbers were also superior to Rune's too, but it was the 21-year-old's clutchness that kept him alive in this match, as he saved a lot of break points to make this, competitive as it was. Up next for Zverev is 11th seed Alex de Minaur, who took down world number 5 Daniil Medvedev pretty handily, 4-6, 6-2, 6-1, 6-3. Zverev will be the favorite here, as he leads the head-to-head between the two 7-2, although much of those matches were played before Alex de Minaur further elevated his game. De Minaur can try and make this a physical match. I think that might be a good play for him. Zverev has now played 2 back-to-back grueling 5-setters, while the Aussie has not been tested as much throughout the event and will presumably have a lot of energy to make his opponent work out there. I think experience, though, will favor Sasha heavy in this one. He's been in this position a dozen of times, while this is only de Minaur's 2nd Slam quarterfinal appearance. Because of this, I would be going with the German to take this one in 4 sets too. Now, briefly covering the women's side, things were much more straightforward, as Elena Rybakina opened day 9 of play with a solid 6-4, 6-3 win over 15th seed Elena Svitolina. Rybakina did just about anything better than her opponent. Her serve, return, ground game, net game was simply unmatched out there. Svitolina was just not aggressive at all and did not bring that firepower and moxie which she needed in order to really trouble the Kazakhstani. Up next for Rybakina is a first-time Slam quarterfinalist, my girl Jasmine Paolini, who upended Elena Evanesian 4-6, 6-love, 6-1. Jasmine started this match pretty slow, and she went down 4-love in the opening set. But she eventually shifted gears and started imposing herself more from the ground, which worked wonders. She ultimately won the last 16 out of 18 games of this match. Rybakina leads the head-to-head with Paolini 2-1, and she took their last meeting, which was in Stuttgart at the quarterfinals back in April, although that one went the distance in 3 sets. Rybakina does have the edge here game-wise and experience-wise, but I do think Jasmine has a solid shot if she's able to push this one to the distance and make it a bit more physical. Meanwhile, Aryna Sabalenka had the most dominant performance of the day, getting revenge over Navarro, who beat her at Indian Wells, winning with a score of 6-2, 6-3. This was an unbelievable performance from Biglenka. She hit 36 winners in just 17 games played in this match, and that's basically the story of the match. You know, there weren't that many long rallies. It was just first strike tennis for Sabalenka. She was on it, and I think definitely she had a better game plan as far as Navarro was concerned. You know, she mixed in a lot more variety too, a lot more slices, which tripped up the American much more. And she just was just on fire today. I have really no bad notes for her. To me, I think that she is playing the best tennis out of all of the women remaining in the bottom half, and she's going to be the massive favorite, to me at least, in this quarterfinal when she takes on 17-year-old Russian Mira Andreeva. Andreeva beat her good friend Varvara Krejcikova, who was the last remaining French woman, by a score of 7-5, 6-2 to make her first slam quarterfinal. Sabalenka and Andreeva played twice before, and both were on the clay, and both were at the same site, the Madrid Open. In 2023, Sabalenka won that match in straight sets by a score of 6-3, 6-1. And then this year they played in the quarterfinals. Sabalenka won that one 6-1, 6-4. I think this is just a bad stylistic matchup for Andreeva at this moment. She does not have the weaponry to really trouble a Sabalenka. I think Sabalenka is at the point where, you know, those people who just keep the ball in play right now don't really trouble her, especially when she's playing this well. She'll just blow them off the court. I think it's going to take something special from Andreeva that she might have not even incorporated thus far in her tournament. So, you know, it's going to be a big step up in class. Not to mention, this will be the biggest match of Andreeva's young career. You know, she's never played in the Slam quarterfinal, and she's never played a pro match on Philippe Chatrier. So I think that in itself will give Sabalenka about a 3-game advantage. Now, I do think that her playing Aryna a couple months or last month in Madrid will help her a lot, as she'll be pretty familiar with the pace of shot that Aryna will have coming at her, you know, so possibly she can use that as well as a refined game plan to trouble the Belarusian a little bit more. But I just feel that Sabalenka is just going to be way too strong here, and I have her winning this one in straight sets. Looking ahead to day 10, Coco Gauff and Ons Jabeur start us off on Chatrier, followed by Iga Swiatek and Marketa Vondrousova. Grigor Dimitrov and Yannick Sinner begin play for the men's, and then Stefano Tsitsipas and Carlos Alcaraz cap things off with the night session. That's all I have for this update, and let me know in the comments whether you believe that Novak's knee problem will be fine, or do you think it's more serious than what I believe it is. Also, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post my men's and women's semifinal previews. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Christian's Court.